Hey everybody. It's probably good to hear my voice once again, even though I'm not in the classroom. But I will be on Friday. But if you look at the point slope form, okay, you have your formula right there. I have your instructions on how to graph them. Basically, what I'm going to do is go straight to the examples and show you how to do them. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do here is figure out what is x1 and y1. And based off of the formula, you find those with those two numbers right there. Okay? And so that means x1 is going to be the opposite of plus 2, which is minus 2. And y1 is going to be the opposite of negative 1, which is positive 1. And what those two numbers give us is the 1 point, negative 2, 1. Once you have that point, you're going to plot it on the graph. So negative 2, 1. So negative 2 is the x, 1 is the y. You plot that point. Okay? Hence the first part of the form, point slope. Okay? The next thing is to identify your slope. That's this number in front of the parentheses. So that means our slope is negative 1/3. So that means from this point that we plotted before, we're going to follow the slope of down 3 or down 1, right 3. So down 1, right 1, 2, 3. And there's our next point by following that slope. Now, once we have that slope put in, then all we have to do is take a straight edge and draw a line through those 2 points. And once you have that line drawn with arrows on both ends, you have graphed using point slope form. Okay? So you can watch this video over and over as much as you want as you're working to remember everything, or just to refresh your memory, you get stuck or anything like that. Okay? The next thing is going to write an equation when you're given a point and a slope. Okay? And as you can see, we kind of alluded to that right here. Okay? Where to graph it, we had to find the point, we had to find the slope. So basically, we're going to go backwards to write the equation. So here, again, identify your pieces. We have our slope, which is m, and then they give us a point. This is x1 and y1. Okay? And if writing it above stuff doesn't help you very much, write it out. So that you don't have to worry about all those words in the way. So now, our formula is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And basically what you're going to do is substitute everything for the variable you have. So starting off, this y doesn't change. Then you have minus. Now you put in y1. y1 is the number 2. Okay, this number goes right there. Okay? Then you have equals. Then you have to put in m. M is 2/3. So you're going to put that in right there. And then parentheses x minus, and then x1 we have right here. And you're going, whoa, we don't want a straight line. We want a curvy line. There we go. And that is a backwards arrow. So let's try that again. There you go. Okay, it goes right in there. And that is -6. And so now to finish this up, all you have to do is basically change all the double negatives to positive. So here you only have one negative, so that's going to stay y minus 2. You're going to keep the 2/3. And then here, because we have x minus -6, we have 2. We have a double negative right there, so we have to change that to a plus, and then 6. and that's all you have to do. All you're doing is substituting into the formula, changing double negatives to a plus. Okay? So again, it's not super tough, but this next one tends to be kind of a bugaboo for some. Okay? So here we're going to do writing equation when you're given 2 points. Okay? So here we just choose one of the points. Let's say we're just going to choose this one right here, because if it has a 0 in it, you'll want to use that one because it makes your equation a little bit easier. Okay? But ultimately you could use either point. Okay? But in this instance, I'm going to use the easiest point, and that's going to be the point 0, 2. So 0 is x1, y1 is 2. To write the equation, we also need to know the slope. Well, they don't give us the slope like the previous problem, but we did learn earlier that we can calculate the slope between 2 points. Okay? Now, the sub may have not taught you it this way, but this is how I calculate slope. Okay? If I start at -5, what do I have to add to -5 to get to +2? Well, I have to add 7. Okay? Now, for the x's, the run, okay, that was the rise, this is the run. What do I do to 4 to get 0? Well, that is, I have to subtract 4. And so now my slope is going to be the 7 that I have on top over the -4 I have on the bottom. And so now, I take my formula, and then I'm going to substitute my pieces in. Okay? So here we got y minus, then we're going to take y1, which is 2, and put that in there. Then we're going to take the -7/4, and we're going to put that in for m. And then we're going to take the 0, which is the value of x1, and we're going to put it at the end there. So we're going to have here parentheses x minus 0. Okay? So here we go through and clean things up. We got y minus 2. There's no double negatives in this one, so that's a bonus. Okay, then we have the -7/4. And then having x minus 0, that's just x. So instead of having parentheses in an expression, we are just going to have x, and this is going to be your equation. Okay? Now, some of you might be asking, well, Mr. Cruz, how come you don't use 4 -5, that point? Well, you can, because you're going to get the same line. Because if I add the 2 over in this equation, I get the slope-intercept form of that. Okay? Now, if I went through, and you don't have to copy this down, just listen and learn. Okay? Is that if I put these numbers in, okay, the 4, -5, okay, -5 in there will be y plus 5, equals, we're going to have the same slope because we're using the same 2 points, right? And x minus 4. Okay? So now, okay, we're going to take this slope and we're going to distribute it through the parentheses. So we get y plus 5 equals -7/4 x. And -7/4 times -4 is a +7. Now, if we go to solve this for y, subtract 5 from both sides, and we get y equals -7/4 x plus 2. And now, as you can see, when this gets solved for in slope-intercept form, we come up with the same equation. Okay? And the only way that that works is that both of them will get you the same exact line. Okay? So, that should do it for point slope form. What you should be working on now is your workbook pages 54 to 58. There will be a separate video on a tutorial on completing those, on what those should look like. And so if you get stuck, you can go to that tutorial and go through the problem and see what you need to do. All right? So